step of the way. We are going to be having a Jabs Rubik. So that'll be nice to be able to see, of course. Never going to be able to see the DJ Rubik again, I feel. It's just a hero that just kind of needs to be in a higher net worth priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that legend of old is perhaps a little bit dead. But still, Fnatic, so you're saying they have to take pretty fast tempo. I mean, they are going to be outscaled by a Spectre no matter what. But there is serious cooldown issues on Vici Gaming, right? Like, they have this amazing team fight, Ravage, Requiem, Haunt.
Yep.
But they're all long cooldown abilities.
Indeed, but I think this is why I feel Vici are, like a lock for top 6, but not top 4.
Okay.
In a lot of people's predictions. Like, they have an incredibly high floor, but their ceiling might be capped because this is the Dota that they play, right? It's just solid. It's well crafted. You have a lot of natural synergy, specifically when it comes to damage reduction, but also minus armor and damage amplification within their draft. As you said, really strong team fight, but it is exploitable if you play up against a squad that has more pace than you. They can't really take Ancients that effectively. Yeah, sure, Tidehunter, but if your Tide is taking Ancients and then you have a Spectre, like, who's actually getting things done on the map? And Weaver ET aren't exactly great at rotating or making moves, whereas, of course, Rubik is the ultimate ganking hero, especially with the boots first. So be curious to see how it plays out. I'm just hyped, man. It's just so cool to watch TI just because of the Dota. Like, it's just so good. And it's just nice. I'm enjoying myself. You got to remind me if I don't talk for a while that I'm supposed to do a job here, not just vibe.
Well, I've got an additional job that I'll also be trying to focus on. Apologies ahead of time if the observing is not up to standard. You're going to be hearing that from a lot of the casters here. We've been living the good life, We haven't had to do observing for ourselves in a long time. So we'll, I'll try and do my best.
Yeah.
I'll try and do my best.
And no matter how bad it is, Cap, no, I am not going to replace you. And trust me, viewers at home, you do not want to see my camera work because it is shoddy. I can't even do my own camera work on my own stream.
Vici Gaming did start off with the 3 bounty runes. Nice already. DJ getting a 2-man Arcane Curse. Trying to get that harassment in.
Yeah, both, Weaver, PYW starts with the stick. Old 11 will grab his ASAP. Very critical against a tiny silencer lane. They do quite often spam their spells.
And then bottom lane is Jabs playing Rubik alongside Death is Mars. DY comes in, snipes the courier, gets a little damage onto Jabs. Helped out by the Spectral Dagger slow as well. He's going to commit for this one, and he is barely going to get that one hit to finish him off. Either way, probably would have gotten the kill. Nice first blood for Vici Gaming to add on top of the bounty rune advantage they already had. It's a very good start for them.
I mean, that's a balanced hero right there, Cap. And one of the main reasons you're going to see Elder Titan quite a bit. All this late game potential, super high damage output and amplification, but your laning phase is nuts. I think you might be even stronger than an Undying. And legitimately was a dagger from Poyo and some smacks with the briefcase, and that's the end.
You just get 100 to 0'd.
Like a boots first Rubik too. Like, that's the other thing. He can buy boots and still outrun anybody.
Yeah. And then our mid lane matchup, Ori versus Tuan, which we do have, let's see, where's our SF? 10-4 compared to 6-2. So Ori is really dumpstering this matchup already. So if it's a counter later on to the game with your abilities to be able to blow up the Death Rob at 100 to 0 combined with the Fear, it's already starting off very poorly for Tuan.
It's just an unwinnable matchup, Ori shows up, spams nukes to outlast hit you. Death Prophet doesn't really output too much damage pressure in the early laning phase. And then SF has souls, and suddenly, even with the nerfs to Necromastery, he's sitting at 64 damage. Chuan is 62, so a better attack animation and better scaling in that sense.
Sentries all over the place. They do manage to find the kill on a PYW. Fnatic certainly kind of needs some of those kills because it doesn't feel like these lanes are naturally going their way. You can see the Tide beating out, canceling the South with the Gush. Very nice. But this is a lane that's naturally going to win, right? Tide Weaver have good synergy, minus armor combined together with a lot of physical damage. And when Tiny doesn't have the tree, then Tide is going to be able to outlast hit him a lot of times.
Yeah, and also a 0 armor hero against effectively almost pure physical damage output in the laning phase. The early Geminate and Harass for PYW is going to stack up, but then of course,
yeah, sure. deny the sentry. That gives no experience and no bounty. I think a large part of the problem that just comes down to the fact that they're playing Silencer, right? Like the 5-position Silencer does not win your lane for you.
No, it does not.
Yeah, compared to DY over here, who is making Jab's life total hell.
Even stacked out. I love how you know, one of the only 5 positions that just leaves the hard camp open because you plus 129. Like, what even is this?
Yeah. Spear back, Poyoyo. Actually pretty low here, but Death may be beaten down. Telekinesis and DY is going to be forced back. They do pull the creep wave over, so if they have regen, which they do, DY's got a salve he can give over to Poyoyo. Should be able to reset.
I'm surprised he played so aggressive on the Spectre, though. If he got that spear, I think he might just die. He was at 127 HP when he got salved. And now, oh man, Ori's level 5 middle as well, Cap. Like, this lane does not get any happier for Chuan, especially now that he has the boots disadvantage.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on how well Ori is able to bully there. I want to talk about the support duo of VG Gaming. I feel like they've been a story for this entire year. It feels like they are one of the best support duos in the game right now. I feel like so much of this team is based off of PYW and DY and the success they've had as supports, just winning lanes and then being able to rotate the mid lane, help out Ori. Every single time I watch this team, I'm like, damn, these supports are doing so much work. And that's why I think they pick heroes like ET and Weaver, heroes that naturally scale up a bit. Old 11 may just be running down DJ here, as he does have a mango. He put it out from the backpack and is able to consume it. And hell, Raven's actually still pretty low, so he's got to be careful too. There's still a swarm ready to go.
I like how he saved 1,200 gold and they're still dumpstering this lane. Like, one of the biggest faux pas, I feel, and it drives me nuts if I see people do it, but he might just be thinking, you know, could I switch this up? No, he'll go for phase boots. But I was thinking maybe he just decides, like, wow, I'm huge. I could get an early HOD. I could, like, rush some hood, but no. He'll go right for phase boots, which will make him terrifying because until he's level 6, like, Raven is a now 2 armor hero because of the agility treads.
Yeah, and that armor goes away real quickly when he gets gushed, when he gets put on a swarm, and they'll just force him out of lane again.
Yeah, he needs 6 to even be able to stand here, and with phase boots, Old 11 should be able to just, like, take him down. And I'm looking at Jabs. Like, somebody has got to change the laning phase because Vici will very comfortably sit in a 1 core per lane scenario indefinitely. As long as you let this game stay static, Fnatic, Vici will take it. And that's concerning. Top 3 net worth, all 3 cores of Vici Gaming, and it really doesn't get easier unless they can make some moves.
Well, both supports are kind of roaming around. We saw Jabs kind of occupying the mid lane for a bit, and then I think they realized that Poyoyo has kind of been left alone for a bit, so they're going to try do what they can to him here. He does have a Fairy Fire. He's going to have to pop it to try and stay alive here. Here comes Ori to be able to bail him out. Not quite fast enough, though. Poyoyo still dies. Death is certainly going to lose his life. Maybe they can catch Jabs as well. The stomp is going to be too late, though. Teleport out gets them away. That is certainly a success for Fnatic. That was a huge rotation. They still got the kill that they were looking for.
Yeah, I actually can't believe that Poyoyo goes down there. Suffering a bit. You don't see many carry players pick up raindrops, but if there was a lane to do it, I feel like it would have been this one.
I'm surprised Chuan isn't popping Exorcism, right? He sees the SFTP bottom lane. Surely that's the time to pressure this mid tower, right?
Yeah, but he maybe just, you feel that Vici, they've all gone missing from the bottom lane. They're going to be heading back up towards you, and the danger of utilizing Exo is that you're then just, I don't want to say like worthless, but it feels bad.
Sure.
You don't actually output any threat, and against an SF, it means that for the next 2 minutes, he just outfarms you considerably because his hero's better, and yeah, you want to use the Invis rune. He's going to go right top.
Looking for this kill on Old 11. But they need more than just Chuan to be able to kill. Raven's going to cut over, and they're going to initiate. Old 11 is he going to hold on to Ravage? I think he's just going to accept his death. He will. So Exorcism gets that kill, and we'll see what else they do with the Exorcism. Doesn't look like they want to push that offlane tower, so maybe he'll just farm some neutrals. Let Jabs try and pick up level 6 mid lane.
Like this build on Ori too. This is my favorite way to play SF. You see a lot of guys going for the bots duels builds, but this is the way I think that in this patch you want to play it. Like brute force. The new shard was buffed. Makes your right click stronger. Ooh.
Raven. He got surprise stomped by DY, and that just allows a massive TP rotation. They even pop Poyo the Exorcism, maybe just because he didn't feel safe bottom lane anymore. So he's like, okay, time for a lane swap. I'll come up the top lane, be a part of a kill, so you can push down this tower.
They're 5 heroes.
Yeah. Take this tower fast enough, and they may still be able to defend maybe bottom lane. I don't know if they ever want to return back to bottom lane, though. I guess PYW, if he had TP, he could go down there and like swarm and just kind of like be annoying and get experience.
It's pretty dangerous, though. You're looking at a Mars, right, with Arena active. Offlane towers typically do get abandoned, and if you're Vici Gaming, it's all about just making that first move. Do you overcommit a bit? Sure, but again, we talked about it, the draft, the scaling power. You're comfortable just trading time. You know, in a 50-50 scenario, you're winning because your lineup is going to scale so much better.
And that's kind of like Vici Gaming. That's been their story for most of the year, right? Has been the fact that I feel like their drafts always, or typically, outscale their opponents, but they don't play like their late game drafts. They play pretty like 5-man balls. So it's pretty much like, we're going to take team fights against you, and if we win those team fights, we also outscale you. In a way, that like the fact that all of their heroes in this game will scale up does allow them to play less greedy when it comes to farm, because just naturally, if they get experience, they'll still feel strong.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like I'm thinking to myself, you know what? The Fnatic, they're not out of this by any means. Like it's an even game, but I'm trying to think like, how do you make moves?
Like, yeah, how do you use this next Exorcism to like get an objective somewhere?
Yeah, it's gonna be that right there. The Blink Dagger picked up on Mars. It's just scary. Like I think you want the mid tower with Exorcism, yes, but you're playing into Ravage. You're gonna have Spectre Haunt up in 40 seconds, and this SF is very strong. You know, maxed out souls, 80 bonus damage plus the Dragon Lance and Power Tread. So if you try to go for him, especially now with ulti skilled, you're in some serious trouble if you don't 100-0 him, because just that fear, we talked about it. You know, suddenly everybody flees from your own arena, and he stands there and nukes whoever he wishes.
So that's definitely got to be a clean execution for Fnatic, and that is public enemy number 1, right? Like, they have to 100-0 the SF at the start of a team fight, and then the rest of Vici Gaming doesn't look so scary, because their primary damage dealer is gone. Spectre isn't going to do that much just yet, though it's not going to take very much for him to come online, right? He's going to go that Aghanims build that we've seen. He's not going to go multiple Falcon Blades, which we've seen a number of people do, just the one.
He's rushing Aghanims.
Yeah. Straight for that Ags. I guess in a way, because he's got both Weaver and Tidehunter, that allows him to come online sooner, right? It's like damage amplifiers, all that minus armor.
That's really interesting. Is that a thing people have been doing? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, the Ags rush, yeah. Though Falcon Blades, I've seen people, like I've seen Spectres get like 2 Falcon Blades and then go Aghanim Scepter. It's, you know.
It's certainly a good item. Like, you know, your biggest issue is that with no Haunt, you have downtime, right? Well, suddenly Spectre, you just find somebody, and it's especially effective when you consider Rubik and Silencer just feed to him the entire game. So you see them, and suddenly you kind of turn into a PA almost.
Yeah. Means you've got both team fight and extremely good pickup potential, and as you said, no downtime for the Spectre being involved in team fights.
And I love how like they're playing so conservative too. You know, PYW just ulted just to be safe, and Poyo was like farming under his tier 2 tower. Like they're just very content with the pace of this game, and you know everything's ready. for Fnatic. They've had Exorcism for quite some time now. Arena's ready, the Blink's ready, Silencer ult ready.
Yeah, it does feel like in a way you're... like, I know you don't want to blow ultimates unnecessarily, but it does feel like a shame when you're like, I could have global 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, the game would be the same. We just aren't really making use of these big abilities. They are going to be going for the Shadowblade build onto Raven, so expect the full Silver Edge crit first hit.
Yep. It's also just a necessary tool if you ever want to kill a Spectre. Removing dispersion is certainly necessary.
Yeah, the Silver Edge is going to be really valued because Tide as well, right?
And I'm also, you know, I love TI because there's these questions you ask about efficiency throughout the year, and then at TI everybody does like what the math would tell you. In this case, Poyoyo, we saw a lot of like 2-0-4 builds, right? But that second point in Desolate, taking the bonus damage from 18 to 32, it's most value. And suddenly you're a real offensive threat.
Yeah.
You don't just max dispersion like Farm Lane. Now you can actually get things done. Tide, mid, care.
They're going to try and go for the Tide Hunter. And sure, he can Ravage, but again, Old 11 is left all alone. He's going to pop the last second here, and we'll be able to steal it. Uh-oh. Look out for that one. I don't think this is a fight that Vici Gaming can take any longer. Fnatic finally managed to pull the trigger and get the objective that we've been kind of waiting for. And that, I mean, the reason we were concerned is that net worth was building up, right? Vici Gaming was up 2,000, all of a sudden less than 1,000 off of one move.
Yeah, that was exactly what they wanted. Jab stealing Ravage also somewhat secures the next 2 minutes for them.
Yeah.
You don't want to play into that. Now with the Shadowblade, hell yeah, Raven, like, yo, let's get aggressive again. Yeah, you don't have Exorcism, but you don't necessarily need it. Like, you have Ravage. Oh, we'll see. I mean, hey, 4-4, 15 minutes in. A slow game. We've discussed the concerns because I'm looking at Ori and I see him closing in on the BKB. That's the big fear for me when I look at Fnatic's lineup, because we discussed it. The fear effectively stops their team fight in its tracks. And yeah, time to smoke. They are not under a ward, so we'll see where they end up going. Arena up in 15 seconds. They'd love to find Ori. They will.
This is a big, big kill. Ori gonna be surprised as the smoke is gonna land right on top of that SF. I almost feel like that's I feel like you could kind of see that kind of move coming, you know.
Indeed, and hey, maybe just a little too fast for Vici to recover. Be careful on PYW, but he'll be fine now. Love the Veil build on DJ. Ton of spell damage on his draft. Ghosts function as spell damage, so one of the very few ways you can help out your Death Prophet's damage out, but I guess minus armor still. But either way.
Well, Raven's gonna love it as well, right? Adds even more to his combo. Yeah, Fnatic, they're gonna get into a really good swing of things for the next 10 minutes, right? I think it's all about like how much can they accomplish? How many objectives can we take? Can they get that first Roshan successfully, for example? Are we gonna be able to take control of the enemy triangle, which they're already doing, and will manage to kill DY? Fnatic picking up the pace a little bit, and you can see Vici Gaming not looking for fights right now. They're waiting till the next BKB. Ori, once he picks that up, maybe Vici Gaming can fight back, but I still feel like it's going to be difficult. They're probably just going to have to give up this Roshan entirely.
Level 12 on the Death Prophet too, so it's really nice timing.
Yeah.
And well done by Fnatic. This would be a huge win for them if they can take it. You're going up against a near consensus top 8, top 6 team with a lot of question marks, and you're going up against what is effectively the bread and butter of Vici Gaming. You're on a bit of a clock, but so far, you know, the big objectives. The mid tower into a big kill on the enemy mid hero, delays the BKB, and now right into the Roshan. Hey, why not a fight if you can find it?
Vici Gaming forcing some rotations and cleanly getting out, it looks like. They may even... They're going to try and go back in with that Arena going down. They are going to actually pop the ultimate. Spectre's going to join them for this one, trying to go for death, but Raven interferes with the Avalanche, and Vici Gaming are going to kind of reset here, maybe try and finish off this tower.
Yeah, they just hit the power spike. The BKB from SF arrived. It would have got there mid-fight had it begun, and the Aghanims on the Spectre up and running, so...
I like the fact that they're not scared. You know, like, okay, you took that Aegis, but it cost you Exorcism. We've got this BKB. They're not afraid. They're not going to give up map. Just because they know, as you said, with this BKB, they are capable of fighting back.
I also DY with the Veil. I feel so vindicated. I bought this item in all my games and I got flamed, and I see every single team buying a Veil.
Yeah.
It's like, who would have thought 18% damage increase for 1,500 gold would be a good thing? Wild stuff. Either way.
You know what's funny to me, Kyle? Is that I feel like you're really good about understanding the mechanics of damage in Dota, but you're terrible at understanding spell mechanics around each other. And I just kind of like, I don't understand how that works. You're so good at being able to understand the mechanics of damage. What happened to spells, Kyle?
There's just so many spells, whereas damage is very rigid. There's only 3
it's
types.
Universal, right?
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Damage is, you know, I remember talking to Insania about this, where he talked about how this speech I used to give back in Han about damage and damage mechanics was something they still use. And I was like, damn, I forgot about that. Why wasn't I using that as a captain and pro player? And now I'm only remembering what I already had said, but it's too late, I've retired.
Yeah, you had to watch OG use those damage mechanics to win TI multiple times. Old 11,
BKB.
I highlighted that just now. I was like, damn, that's a BKB Tidehunter. He's not afraid of being broken anymore. In fact, he's going to use the Ravage right away, and it's not looking too hot for Fnatic. They've got to start retreating, but Poyo is going to be right on top of them. Jabs being run down. Is Spectre going to jump to them? No, actually couldn't, I think. Oh, no, he could. Global Silence is still up. Fnatic may actually try and go back in. DY steps a bit too far forward, and Fnatic look for that punish. They get one. 1-for-1 trade-off so far with the exorcism being used. Old 11 getting a little greedy there, trying to farm neutrals on his way back. They're going to pop the SF ultimate. The Requiem does give a fear that is just enough to get Old 11 out of here. Long-range tree toss is not going to make it.
And Jabs has Blink Ravage still, like really, really quick. You can see why they like Rubik in this matchup. Historically, you know, picking Rubik into Tide, never a bad thing, but not many players have the skill to be 2 for 2 on the snag.
It's also easier now, right? Because they changed Ravage where the tentacles go out slower, but they go out farther, right? That was a change that happened a few patches ago. So that actually makes it even easier for the Rubik player than it was previously. PYW doing a little bit of scouting here with the support Weaver. Just seeing if they're setting up for this tier 2, and indeed they are. DY and Ori. Oh, they're going to be spotted by the arena, and Ori BKB TP out immediately. Old 11 cancels his TP in, and they just get a kill onto DY and presumably control of this bottom tier 2. Vici Gamer are going to try and trade out, though, and we'll see how Fnatic responds to this. Do they want to give up this damage onto mid tower? Seems like they are content with just a little bit.
That was really nice from DJ there, covering the SF BKB with an immediate silence.
DJ tries to pull some of the creeps off the mid lane and immediately is going to be jumped by Poyo with the Aghanim Scepter. That wasn't
Right
the full-out ultimate.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
This, so far, so really, I think both teams going to be content, right? You just took Outpost bottom on Fnatic. You still have the Aegis for another 20 seconds. And, ooh, maybe killing Weaver? Indeed.
Oh, they do. Very nice.
Like, you've lived through what I would have considered the hardest phase of this game. Like, the BKB Aghanim's timing for Vici's course. And, and you've come through unscathed. The 1,000 gold lead, that's not so bad. And you do have your Tiny closing in on his BKB now. It's always nice to be the team hitting the BKB timing second, assuming you haven't, like, lost total map control, and it's actually Fnatic who have acquired more space.
So BKB 1 on Death, BKB 2 on Chuan. I'm presuming it's coming out now because he looks a little poor. Yep, BKB number 2 is here. So yeah, they're going to hit a huge window here. Blink Dagger trying to be built up by Old 11, but he is going to be found by Raven. This BKB does allow him to split push against the Tiny.
It's a really nice choice in retrospect, because you also wanted some way of cleansing silence. And Lotus is more expensive almost than a BKB, so yeah. It does feel better, plus the plus damage.
get out of Mars Arena as well. Ori caught before he could get off the BKB, pops it now, goes to the Requiem with the BKB on Chuan, allows him to stay close, but the Invis, the Shadow Blade, allowed him to be able to get away. They didn't have any detection. Now the Ravage are going to be used, and they just blow up the Death Prophet. Turning onto Death now. Death looking to be able to push them away, but they're not going to slow down this March. He is going to be run down. Poyoyo picks up the double off that team fight. A very smooth initiation there from Old 11. Just sets up a great team fight.
Oh yeah, but that's all PYW. Like, as this chaos is forming around the Shadow Fiend, yeah, the fear not necessary, but PYW, he found jabs. Immediately, there comes the Shadow Step from Poyoyo. That's a dead Rubik. Suddenly BKB's fade, and all of a sudden Old 11, yeah, he's ready to rock and roll. If we can run, we can run it back. Beautiful.
Yeah, we can actually,
yeah.
I totally forgot about replays. We got the production.
They get jabs. PYW, like, he saw the Rubik, and he just starts to gun for him. The Haunt's already gone out, so while this is all happening, there's jabs dead, and suddenly BKB's fading, perfect Ravage timing from Old 11, and there's nothing you can do. DJ, maybe he could have silenced there, but as soon as Ravage is activated, that's that.
Yeah.
So...
And the fact that Ori had a Shadow Blade and was able to get away, right? Yeah. That was kind of, it felt pretty bad for Fnatic. The fact that he committed so heavily to him.
Can't you just BKB and run out of the arena as well?
Yeah, he did, but he also got away from the Death Prophet and the Ghost.
True.
Because he was pretty low, and then he just goes invis, and it's Chuan's BKB and Exorcism means nothing at that point.
How did he get healed? Was it just a stick that healed him? I was like, I thought somebody had a mech, but no, he just had a maxed out stick. Okay.
Jabs. This is life for these two supports, right? They have no natural defense mechanisms. Jabs and DJ, Silencer, Rubik, they're just going to be food for this Spectre all the time. So if they ever show, there's a chance of them getting Shadow Step assassinated, especially now that you've got the Manta on Poyoyo.
Yeah. That's just such a huge item. Of course, your illusions do utilize Desolate, so these lone supports get just absolutely obliterated. And it's also a method of cleansing yourself so that DJ's ultimate is no longer super effective against you. It can be really annoying to play Spectre against Silence because you pop Haunt, but then you silence, you can't actually leap in on anybody.
Yeah.
Will no longer be an issue for him. Next Roche, though, going to be really, I mean, I can't believe 1st to 10 is still up in the air, by the way, 25 minutes in.
9-9, 25 minutes in, 4,000 net worth lead. A pretty close game between these two. Their opener here at the International. How do you feel like New Tiny scales up into late game? Because obviously it's what we've been talking about. It's been played as carry. It feels really good in the mid game, and it still scales well late game. Do you think it's actually good enough to be for them to be able to contest Spectre 45, 50 minutes in?
Definitely, but I think they might have to play a different style of game. Like, Tiny is most fearful, I feel, when you're split on the map. Like, you kill a tier 3 in like 10 smacks late in the game, and I think that that's something they could utilize here. But the real issue, Dota nowadays feels like, how do you start the fight? Can you kill anybody off? Feature Gaming, you have no trouble hunting Fnatic supports. It's a lot harder for Fnatic to find a kill on either the Weaver or the PT, and they obviously just have insane damage output throughout the fights. Just the Spirit Vessel from PYW, super effective once these BKBs fade on these high HP heroes like Tiny, or heroes that require sustain like Death Prophet as they now smoke forwards. Roshan up in 20 seconds. This could be huge.
They're going to break smoke. Jump in. Old 11 fakes the Ravage there. He just blinked blind. Does get broken. Is going to pop the BKB. Resetting him for a bit. Or he's just going to try and focus down the Death Prophet here. Death Prophet keeping a bit of distance. Will manage to get some Exorcism damage onto Ori, and Ori is dead. He committed a little bit too much to that Death Prophet, and Chuan played it pretty nicely.
What timing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. DY tries to enter. Oh, there goes the Ravage. Old 11 is in now. Poyoyo immediately jumps onto the back line. Jab's going to be first. Chuan and Raven, they're both low. Poyoyo jumped out actually for a second. Back in. Chuan is going to be finished up. Raven, he's going to be next. Turns around, realizes he's dead. His BKB is going to wear out. Almost killing the Weaver, but it wasn't good enough. Damn, that is the second time now Fnatic have won a team fight, or thought they won a team fight, and then Old 11 still jumps in. They still take a great team fight.
Yeah, Zai, he's always said it. What characteristic do you need to succeed in Dota 2? You need patience. And that was perfect. They have no SF, but it doesn't matter. They have Elder Titan Tide.
Yeah.
That was such a nuts combo. Death dies in the Roche Pit. Just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely good stuff, and we should be able to see that one again.
Either way, it just you go back to live. I don't even know what you're supposed to do there. The Manta as well from Poyo. Like, he just killed Jabs in the duration of the Ravage, and then they can chase for more. And they have so much vision thanks to the Spirit, the bugs, the daggers.
Have a taste of that Earth Splitter, DY. Jabs puts it to use to get a pick off there. Nothing major, but maybe when the Tiny's back, they'll try and do
actually
something. I don't know.
That's a crazy spell to steal on Rubik because of all the spell amp you get.
Yeah. All right, let's try this again. See if we can get a replay of that last team fight. There it is, the jump in Ravage. Beautiful, nice fast reaction from Chuan to get the Yule Scepter off, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, like you saw, like 3-man Ravage, 4-man rather. All the bugs come out, and yes, you lost SF, but the key components were gone, right? Like, there was no silence and there was no BKB. So the counter initiation from Fnatic, like, it just isn't possible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier, unfortunately, for them. Now you have the Hyperstone on Poyo. He's enormous. And Tiny, you know, another really cool, maybe this is the answer in a lot of ways. You know, you have 30 armor right now, thanks primarily to your ultimate on this this big rock, but Desolate is pure damage.
Yeah. It is really interesting that he's just going for just a Hyperstone by itself. They pop the global, but Ori just BKB TP's out and is safe. So he's just going Hyperstone just for the attack speed of getting more Desolate hits in, so he can just blow up these supports. And then he's going to go a BKB, which should be timed well around his Aegis expiring. So there's going to be no moment of weakness where Fnatic could potentially take the game back. And then Fnatic at this point in time looks like they really need a bit of a miracle here as they're down 9,000 net worth. We don't know what that means. And win probability 91% to the favor of Vici Gaming.
That's going to be tough considering as well, Vici Gaming, they were actually the ones that knocked Miracle out of the direct slot to TI. When they beat Virtus Pro in the lower bracket of the Any Major, they meant they guaranteed they were in. And to get to TI, Nigma would have had to finish top 3. They didn't.
Yep.
And Miracle, of course, will not play at this year's International. He's not here, but smoke out. DD pop, they'd love to use it. Silver Edge available as well.
Okay, so this is the point where you play a little bit more of a split pushing game, right? Raven cutting a wave. That's all he's doing here. The rest of Vici Gaming did smoke to kind of meet Poyo as he goes to push out bottom lane. They have a double damage on Ori as well. So anybody they ran into, they would happily take that fight, but no such luck. Fnatic are pretty well holed up inside of their base. It's just DJ who's gonna... It's not usually the support silencer that goes and cuts a wave, but I guess he's the most expendable man at this point.
I love the itemization so far from this lineup. Not going for the Aghanims on Weaver, just a Lotus to help with the silences. The early Shivas after BKB on ult 11. When do you see BKB on Tide? But it makes so much sense in this game. And the Shivas just for the regen limitation as well. Combined with the Vessel, you know, this Death Prophet, only 2,000 health. The Paladin Sword does not feel that durable. Especially since you're just getting burst down in these big ultimates. 11k gold lead already for Vici, even with just one extra kill on the board.
DJ just pushing in waves from the trees with his Veil, Arcane Curse, and level 10 talent, but unfortunately it's just small little things that Fnatic can do because it doesn't feel like they can take a full 5-man team fight. While they still have the Aegis intact, the Shadow Step allows them to be able to jump on a Jabs here at the top lane. Now, they still have the Aegis, so Fnatic are very cautious at taking a team fight or trying to kill this Spectre. They just give up Jabs and leave it at that.
That's the right move. Yeah, even if you're able to kill Spectre, he did it at the right timing. 30 seconds to go. So you really want to commit. You're going to take so much damage from Dispersion, and then he's going to just respawn as the rest of his team arrives.
And he's got the BKB now, and that's why he is just jumping every chance he gets now. Jumped mid, immediately came back, and will be able to fight top. If Old 11 can catch them with the Gush and the Sheev, is certainly going to be able to slowing down Raven a lot. They do not have a piercing disable to be able to catch that time.
Yeah, really nice play. Vici, we had said it was 11, now it's 13, just exercising control over the map. Scotty going to be the next choice for the Spectre. He really just has a casual Hyperstone. Boss move. Taking the Outpost. Shrine. Wait, Outpost. It's Outpost.
Yes.
I knew that.
Shrines were
they were moving.
last TI.
Yeah, 2019.
Juan caught outside of the base, maybe forced to use his BKB here, which even that, just using BKB feels really bad for Fnatic, as that's now going to be on cooldown for 65 seconds. Just means Vici Gaming are going to be fearless in taking any fights. You can see what they're doing. They're slowly corralling Fnatic deeper and deeper inside their base. This bottom lane is getting pushed farther and farther in. Soon there's going to be nowhere for Fnatic to go.
Yep, and I love the Satanic now complete on Ori, so more and more methods of removing the global silence. And so, DJ, his net worth is not exactly ideal, so his main purpose is that big ulti of 5.25 second silence. Nobody's really going to have to sit through it, but the one thing I really like watching Vici do is you notice that they're always playing enemy side of the map. The closer you can be to the enemy base, the more mobile you are, the easier it is for you to cut waves. And this is the first time we've actually seen them cover a wave on their side of the river. And they've done a really nice job of just forcing Fnatic into their base and exploiting their advantage to gain more net worth. And now that Roche could be spawning shortly, they're going to resume circling the pit as Fnatic, I think, prepare to head out.
I was about to say, because they were doing a great job of keeping top and mid very pushed in, but as you said, they're going to start playing a little bit more farther back on the map and playing more towards Roshan. And potentially going back in to catch somebody out from Fnatic, making sure there's no vision. You can see the map very dark for Fnatic. They're just going to go for kind of a blind smoke up here, see if they can reclaim their triangle. Even scanning for it, because again, you could see their map is just super dark. All they see right now, okay, the SF is top, meaning they're probably somewhere in our jungle.
It's the right move, but they need to get some kind of vision up. You can see, look at the strategy from Vici. A trio of wards all controlling this top part of the map, and Fnatic are beelining for it. So you're going to have to be very cautious. I like this move. Cut the mid wave, try and bait into your vision. That's the play.
Yeah.
They do get the smoke out.
Got these nice wards, and they are going to be breaking upon it. The Ravage going out, not really catching a whole lot. The BKB successfully getting away. It's just DJ who's going to die. BKB TP out for one. Jabs, he'll be able to get away as well. So all in all, I mean, they lost their silencer for a Ravage. I feel like that's the best you can hope for if you're Fnatic.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I don't know if that means they can actually take a team fight, but
it's something.
It's okay. It's something.
It's just so
You didn't
hard.
lose the game yet.
Yeah, Fnatic have not played a bad game by any means.
No, I don't
It's
think
just
so.
that one fight in Roche, right? You
Yeah.
give the Aegis away to the Spectre, and suddenly there's just no good moves. It feels like you're playing into this massive team fight, and Poyoyo has all this global mobility. Yeah, no haunts, but the Aghanims is ready.
I don't know how many times you played against this Aghanims Spectre, Kyle. It is suffering when you're behind because you can't split push. Like normally the play is that you're at least able to split push, but Shadow Step is always up, so you can't actually do anything to gain yourself some sort of movement advantage. Locking him in, trying to go for the stomp, self-yules into no BKB, didn't have it yet. It was on cooldown for another 3 seconds, and now Fnatic, they've lost their Death Prophet, and they cannot take this team fight anymore. DJ is gonna die again. Raven trying to make his way back. They're actually gonna be able to go back in with the Solitaire Splitter. So much damage onto Old 11 and Poyoyo, but it's not enough. They've run out, and now they may be losing more heroes. His death broken, so much damage from that SF. Dagger slow, PYW did not commit for that kill, but Old 11 and, well, actually Poyoyo is the one who gets it. Old 11 dies trying to get it.
nice plays. I actually really respect that from Jabs. Captain of the squad, they're down 2 heroes, but they make this crazy call to reinitiate with the stolen Earth Splitter.
Yeah.
They almost turn things around, but that's the kind of play you have to make in this spot. But
it's a recognition of where the game's at, right? 98% win probability for currently for Vici game. You have to make some pretty big Hail Marys, right? And it looked pretty sick. Honestly, if they had, you know, a little bit more gas, maybe they could have killed someone.
I actually think, so DY was level 17 when he had used it, so he only got level 2 Earth Splitter. If it was level 3, then suddenly the Tide Hunter of Old 11 would have just 100% died, and maybe things could be a bit different. But you can see the power of the Ravage is that even if you get just BKBs, because the Spectre Aghanim's cooldown is so limited, they can just go right back in before those BKBs come back up.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of disable on the side of Vici. Like, they will find kills. Wow, that's fast. They're going to try for it.
It dies so quickly, and Fnatic is just not going to be there in time. Just to make sure the Spectre ultimate does go out, you give the Aegis over to SF Cheese for Spectre, and what was the third item? I didn't see it. See, we got a shard on Weaver.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, refresher.
That's
refresher shard for Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, but the Weaver shard's actually sick in this game. Not for the Geminate spreading, but because Swarm now will latch and reveal invisible units, Glimmer Capes suddenly got nerfed.
Telekinesis into the combo, but the Ravage interference. Old 11 was ready for it, and this is Fnatic trying to go for the last Hail Mary, but it is blocked down immediately by Vici Gaming, and they should be able to quickly dismantle the rest of Fnatic. Very nicely played by Vici Gaming. It just, I feel like they've been so disciplined. The fact that they were even sitting behind the SF in that situation says a lot about how controlled they were playing this game.
And it's just, man, the itemization is just terrifying. You know, Solar Crest, AC, Shiva's refresher shard on the Tide. Like, there's just so many auras. A moon shard complete on Poyo. Like, they're just too damn strong. Even with the Witchbane now as well. So he has the self-cleanse to further make DJ's life miserable. They're just nailing these T4s.
Last hold here for Fnatic, and it's not going to be with a full 5 either. Raven is going to be confident. The second Ravage coming out from Old 11. They gave him the refresher shard to ensure that they would have one last good team fight before they finish off the throne. Earthsplitter is going to make sure Raven can't even get outside of his fountain and may die there if he doesn't keep retreating. Poyo going to focus on the objectives here, and we should be looking at a GG unless Vici Gaming end up running into the fountain entirely.
It's just too much damage.
DJ gets like 2-shot. Raven gets on top of the Weaver, but you can see he can't even 100-0 him, and that's just gonna be it. He gets obliterated by the damage of Ori. And that is going to be it for game number 1. As you said, like a pretty close game, pretty even throughout most of it. Don't feel like Fnatic played poorly.